Hi friends, welcome to Red Ice Radio. It's good to have you with us. My name is Henrik Palmgren. Our website is redicecreations.com. R-E-D-I-C-E creations.com. That's the place to go to tune into our radio programs that we do on Thursdays and Sundays. You can find us here and there on the web as well, of course, just the way we like it. Spread the programs, keep the information flowing, and tell your friends about us. We're soon starting up with our live webcasts again. We've been planning another season, as it were, and we're going to begin with a series on the Brotherhood of Death together with Michael Tessarian. This is coming up, so keep your eyes on the website. In the meantime, take advantage of our archive and our members area for more webcasts, radio, video interviews, and film material. And today we are going to continue on the theme of the media and the occult. Our guest today is Ben Singleton from Pseudo Occult Media. We are going to get into the important and kind of scary and ugly area of pop culture, the music scene, and the connection with mind control. We're going to discuss themes, symbols, triggers, and key elements used in music videos, in TV series, and in films, and much more. We have a few examples that we want to bring up in relation to a few of the pop stars out there. And we have a lot of exciting avenues that we might walk down here today together with Ben Singleton. So it's very exciting to have you on the program, Ben. Thank you very much for coming on.
Yeah, thanks for inviting me, Henrik. I'm honored to be on your show that I've listened to for a long time, and it's really great to be on here.
Excellent. I'm really looking forward to this. I've been following your blog off and on. We can mention the URL for that, of course, is pseudooccultmedia.blogspot.com. That's the best way to go to follow along during today here as we talk, and do go back there because there's a lot of information up there for you to check out. And Ben is very skilled, I think, at kind of analyzing music videos and looking at some of the personages behind all this, or I guess in front of the cameras, we should say, but we might even go behind the cameras as well during this program and talk about what some of the forces might be behind all of this. But again, Ben, excellent to have you here, and we have so much to talk about. But just briefly here at the beginning, I want to talk a little bit about your blog, of course, and kind of what got you started. So if you will, Ben, tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, well, first of all, it's pseudooccultmedia.blogspot.com. That's with only one O between the pseudo and the occult. So they're kind of connected. So pseudocult, pseudocult media.blogspot.com.
Yes.
Yeah, and anyway, basically how I got into this kind of stuff was, basically it's kind of similar to a lot of other people, really. 9/11 was kind of the spark that made you kind of realize something's not right here. But actually, when 9/11 was occurring, I sort of wasn't into any of this stuff. I mean, I was just a kid really kind of like playing Counter-Strike all day and everything. So this just wasn't in my kind of radar, if you know what I mean.
Yes.
But as I kind of grew up and I sort of became a bit more politically active as you go into like college and things like that, I sort of started to realize that there's definitely something wrong here. And 9/11 just seemed like a complete utter fraud. And then so for a couple of years I was really into it around the year 2004. And then the 7/7 bombings happened. And then that sort of got me really kind of, because it's so close to home, it kind of made me really think, like, this is big and needs to be kind of looked at seriously. And then from there, I basically just became interested in all there's so many amazing blogs out there and so many different resources of information that you sort of just get lost in it for a while, really.
What would you say were kind of what got you started just looking at this particular area? Because I guess you started it up, and then, as all things do, they evolve, they develop a kind of character of their own, and all of a sudden you're into an area that you might not at the beginning kind of have set your eyes on, so to speak. But what got you into this area of specifically looking at media, music videos, and the connection with the occult, Ben?
Yeah, well, I wasn't really connecting all the conspiracy stuff to the media, and I connected it to the news and how the perception of everyone is basically controlled by what they push out, you know, on Fox News and all the other kind of brainwashing tools. But I was sort of getting into the whole synchromistic thing, which was kind of connecting it all to the entertainment industry. And Jake Kotz's early work just blew me away. And also Freeman, everyone knows about Freeman. He's done some amazing work on the entertainment industry, and just people like that. It sort of really connected the dots, which is what this is all about, really.
Yes.
And particularly in the mind control aspect, Fritz Springmeier, who's done some amazing books that you really need to read if you're interested in mind control and how it's connected to the entertainment industry and people like Marilyn Monroe and things like that. So it's basically a culmination of all those kind of entertainment sources and the conspiracy kind of sort of mixing up and becoming just really interesting me.
Yeah.
And then I just decided, this is something I need to focus on. So I decided to basically start the blog last year, and it sort of kind of evolved up to all this mind control stuff, which is primarily where my interest lies right now.
And do you keep a close eye on the TV or even MTV? Watch a lot of music videos?
Yeah, I mean, when I was growing up, all of these things, they just seem like innocent, good fun that you watch and you enjoy, and I still enjoy them today, even though I know that there's kind of a dark side behind them all. You kind of suddenly switch off and think, this is bad, I'm not going to enjoy it anymore. It doesn't work like that. And so, yeah, that's kind of how that happened.
Would you say it's kind of across the board, or are there specifics that we can kind of boil down right away? Because again, there are, I would reckon, more, how should we put it, more powerful in a symbolic sense music videos, for instance, out there than some other stuff. And what would some of these kind of artists or music videos be if you took a few examples for us?
Okay, well, if we just go from basically the blog's perspective, my first kind of attempt at this kind analyzing music videos and things like that was, I think it was Katy Perry. You know Katy Perry? She's the I Kissed a Girl. I
know, yeah. And unfortunately, I do.
Yeah. And her video for I Kissed a Girl just seemed to be so loaded with this kind of stuff. I mean, for instance, as she's lying in the bed with all the girls around her, she's got a white rabbit next to her, which, as many people know, is to do with Alice in Wonderland programming and how they have to follow the white rabbit, and the white rabbit is the programmer to the mind of someone under mind control, which ties into Playboy and how it's all gone into that. Yeah, and anyway, there was all these other kind of symbolisms I was noticing with mirrors, and Katie was sort of mirrored in there. And yeah, the thing is with this is that it's gone so quick. Like I've tried to get through as many as I possibly can. But yeah, there's just so many common themes that you can pick out, whether it's checkerboards, which are in so many videos, or whether it's mirror symbolism or skull and bones, all these different symbols, or the Eye of Ra, Eye of Horus, checker cab, everything, all these kind of different symbolisms that are related to the conspiracy. You can find them in so many videos that it just gets a bit ridiculous. I think Rihanna's kind of a good example, if I could talk about her for a second.
Absolutely, go ahead.
Yeah, her she has obviously got into a bit of a problem lately with Chris Brown, where she ended up being hospitalized after he beat her, basically. Have you heard about this?
Yeah, I've heard about it. Yeah.
Yeah, and well, the song that Chris Brown wrote, this song called Disturbia. Well, he allegedly wrote it. I'm not sure if he actually did himself. And the video for it is just incredible. It's basically got her in a torture chamber, which you can watch this all on the blog. And basically, she is portrayed in basically like a slave. She's in a torture chamber. There's all these different symbolisms where they have these two twins who are basically representing mirror symbolism as they're facing opposite each other. And she basically gyrates around this mannequin, which symbolizes like the empty shells, because that's essentially what they are. Their personalities are removed through the trauma at an early age.
Yeah, they become kind of a vessel for something else, or for a mind control entity almost.
Well, for whatever personality they want to program in, basically.
There we go. Yeah.
Which takes time. And yeah, she's encaged. She's got one eye covered, and just so many different things. She's tied up and everything like that. And the problem that we have with this thing is that I sort of analyze quite a few in one post, and then I'll sort of move on to loads of different stuff. So it's all kind of in a wave and wave. So it's hard to kind of get a sort of it's kind of hard to quantify exactly, how it all fits together, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Which makes it a bit difficult to explain in this kind of verbal setting. But for instance, if we took another one like Kylie Minogue, so this might cut out for a second, her very first video basically has her running around on a checkerboard, which is Freemasonic, which you'll see in all the kind of Freemasonic tracing boards and in their lodges and things like that. There's a Scottish group called Biffy Clyroy, and they have a song called Mountains, which is actually, the video for it is filmed inside a Masonic lodge, well, an old Masonic lodge, and it's basically a duality battle. It's a battle between white and black, and eventually black wins out, and it's set on top of a Freemasonic temple with the basically on a Freemasonic checkerboard floor, and dark wins because that's what the Masons, they're on the Masons, they're working for the dark side, if you want to call it that, but really it's bad. You shouldn't call it things like that or satanic or things, because I think that kind of lessens the what it's really about, which is something truly horrific.
Oh, interesting. And maybe we can return to that a little bit later. When you, for instance, are talking about the checkerboard, that's something that comes up as one of these kind of key elements or symbols. You were talking about mirrors previously, things that have to do with, on one sense, that you're kind of participatory in the game in a way. You're like a pawn in the game. You're standing on the checkerboard. You're like part of this dichotomy or these forces.
They're all just pieces on the Freemasonic checkerboard stage, which is the world. I mean, Shakespeare, who some people think is Francis Bacon, who is a Rosicrucian, and they're very much involved in mind control, as Sirhan Sirhan kind of proves, as he was a member of the Rosicrucian order. And I personally think that they programmed him to kill Robert Kennedy. Okay. And so where were we? Sorry.
No, absolutely. I totally agree with you.
I was going to say the Shakespeare's theatre is called the Globe. Yeah.
Okay.
And so that kind of gives you an idea. The fact that this Rosicrucian order, their main theatre is called the Globe, which shows that they're kind of controlling all of it, if you know what I mean. These secret orders that have been kind of in the shadows for the whole of history, except for the last maybe 20 odd years, especially now with the internet. Before, none of this information was accessible to anyone because it was all kept in controlled libraries and everything. But because of the internet, it's just completely blown out of all proportion. And you can see they're trying their best to clamp down on internet freedom to stop people from finally realizing what's actually going on here.
Absolutely. It's very recent in that sense, the discovery, and it's a very interesting process just following.
Yeah, that's why I always find it a bit strange when people say, how come no one's woken up before now, when really the information just wasn't there before now. Well, it's all sort of coming together now with the massive rise in technology and everything.
Well, that's right. And I think that, books have obviously been written by scholars in the past who have been savvy to what's going on, but again, it hasn't been widely available or known in that sense. But things can go so easily in this context, can go, become very, very popular, and in a way, the louder you shout, the more people are attracted to it in a way. And if we go back to this idea of the basic mind control theme or schematic of things, it seems very much that this is also about, as you alluded to with the mirroring, this is about shattering the personality. And one kind of suspicion that I have had when one looks at music videos, and we're looking at certain artists and singers and actresses and what have you, it seems to be that even the actual production of a music video could potentially involve a mind control experiment, if you will, on the actual person who is the lead singer or something